Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Maple Forward Friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today on the podcast, we are talking about our big event for this year, which also happens to be the presenting sponsor of this podcast for the next couple of weeks. And that event is the Global Coffee Townhall. Now, if you are on our mailing list or follow us on social media, you will know about our event, the Sydney Coffee Townhall, or as it's now morphed into, the Aussie Coffee Townhall. This is an event which brings people in the coffee industry together to discuss a particular subject or a question once a month. And it has been an awesome opportunity for people to come together with no ego, because it's not a panel discussion. It's not any kind of place for grandstanding. Basically what it is we start with a question which is kind of advertised before we let you know what the question is before we come to it. And that question then becomes the place where we start the discussion for that town hall, and the conversation goes for a couple of hours. And it usually morphs into many subjects that we then cover, but it's just a starting place for us to talk about things. Now, the concept of the Aussie Coffee Town Hall or the Sydney Coffee Town Hall, we are now going to take that global. And the Global Coffee Town Hall will be happening in October. And I'm very excited to announce that it will be happening in 4 different languages. We may be adding a 5th, and this will not be the last Global Coffee Town Hall. It's just that we are getting started with 4, potentially 5 conversations all around the same question. And that question is, what needs to change in the coffee industry in 2021 and beyond? Now, it's a super general question, and it's very open, and that is done deliberately. Now, the 4 languages that the Coffee Town Hall, the Global Coffee Town Hall, will be in are English, Arabic, Portuguese, and Spanish. And they will all happen over the space of a week. And at this stage, we're hoping that that will get started on the 11th of October. So, in our conversation, we will be talking about what are the changes that need to happen in the coffee industry in 2021 and beyond. If you think about it, a conversation that happens over the 4 different languages is going to create and attract conversations that approach that question in very different ways. Because there are more producers that speak Spanish and speak Portuguese than speak Arabic and English, we anticipate that the conversation will be more tilted towards producers in Spanish and in Portuguese than it will be in English and in Arabic. We anticipate that the conversations that happen in Arabic around that subject are going to be very different, even though both in the English and Arabic there are less producers per se involved in those conversations. Still, we will notice very different approaches to those conversations because, and when I say different, I mean potentially different. They may be very similar, but because the industry is at a very different stage of evolution in the Middle East than it is in English-speaking countries, predominantly English-speaking countries, we anticipate the conversations are going to be somewhat different. Now, the beauty about this is that we are going to be paying translators to make sure that the conversations are translated correctly into the native language that they're had in. And in YouTube, you'll be able to then go and read the subtitles to those conversations in at least 10 different languages. Now, if we can attract enough sponsorship money, we will be able to do that in more languages. So at this stage, we're very excited to announce who our moderators are going to be. So the conversations will probably go in this order. The English conversation will happen first. That will be moderated by Madeline, Madeline from PCR in Hawaii, and myself, Lee. Then we will have in the second conversation will most likely be the Spanish conversation, and that will be moderated by Jethro Sepulveda from Baristas Bravos and Jari Smith Barrientos. Now, our Arabic conversation will be moderated by our host for the Maple Forward Middle East podcast, which is the fabulous Sara. Sara Al-Ale is the owner of that cafe, as well as she has a consulting business and training business in the Middle East. Very well tapped in to the whole industry over there. And the second moderator for that conversation will be Nawar Adra, who is from Lebanon, but is now based here in Australia and has been for most of the past 20 years. And so he will be moderating the conversation in Arabic, but able to offer perspectives from being outside of the coffee industry in the Middle East. And Sada is in the coffee industry inside the Middle East. Now, our final conversation will be our conversation in Portuguese. And I'm proud to announce that the conversation will be moderated by the fabulous Kelly Stein. Kelly is the host of the coffee podcast, Coffea, which is, of all the podcasts I've listened to in the coffee industry, the one that I most highly recommend. Kelly is a journalist in coffee, and she also offers tours to coffee farms in Brazil. Now, our other host or our other moderator for the conversation is one of my dear friends in coffee, Felipe Croce, and Felipe is a producer. So as you can see, that conversation will be very balanced from the perspective of being moderated by somebody who is a podcaster and who is connected in with a lot of the people from the coffee industry, and a producer. Why have I invited all of these people to be hosts? For all the conversations in general, the role of the moderator will be, or the moderators will be, to steer the discussion and keep it moving. The objective is to address this question for the town hall. And once again, that question is what needs to change in 2021 and beyond. Keeping a conversation on track so that it doesn't go too far in one direction, and making sure that we are inviting as many people that are participating in or who show up to participate in the conversation as possible is an important role for the moderators. The conversations will happen on Zoom and on YouTube live and will be available afterwards for you to watch whenever you like on the Maple Forward YouTube channel. Going back to why I chose the moderators, or why I invited the moderators that I invited, was primarily for their experience and the way that they deal with people. They're all open-minded people. They're all people who can have conversations, and they've demonstrated that. Many of them have come on the podcast and had lengthy conversations with me, both on the podcast and not on the podcast. More than anything, though, they're curious people who want to hear other people's perspectives. So not only in their own right do they form ideas and continue to challenge themselves about those ideas, but they're people who are curious to hear what everybody has to say. And I think that's a really important thing to bring to an open forum discussion that is something like the Global Coffee Town Hall. So who can participate in the Global Coffee Town Hall? Everybody. The way that you'll register is right now you can go to excuse me. Right now you can go to mapitforward.org/Global Coffee Town Hall, and you can pre-register to be notified when the free tickets, all of the tickets will be free thanks to our sponsors, but when all the free tickets become available in each of the languages. And so while they'll all be under the umbrella of the Global Coffee Town Hall, they will all be standalone events under that umbrella. Our hope is that we have many people come to attend, and our moderators will be looking to engage everybody that attends in the conversation. So the idea is everybody checks their ego at the door. Everybody shows up with the intention of sharing their opinions and listening to each other. We're in a very challenging time over the next 12 to 24 months in the coffee industry. And this is an opportunity for us to hear each other and to be heard. And so I hope you'll consider pre-registering for the Global Coffee Town Hall and letting us know that you're interested in participating. If you have any questions, shoot us an email at support@mapitforward.org today. And I hope to see you there. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.